Okay, so next we are crafting a company brand DNA. Okay, so I want you to think about what problem is your business solving? Okay, so I want you guys to sit on that. What problem is your business solving? And let's talk about Creatively Flawless for a second, which is my branding company. We'll kind of use that as the example. But when I started out Creatively Flawless, people, especially women, and that was my targeted audience, women really didn't know how to build a company online. So I said, I want to be that go to place for specifically women of color where I can help them build their business, right? So I don't want them building a business without understanding there's a strategy and a formula to build a successful business. So when they come to me, they will have that formula, right? So I wanted to provide formulas for branding to create a successful company. And so ultimately that these women could live life on their own terms. Okay? So that was my problem that I was solving. Next, we're going to talk about your unique story on why you started your business, right? So I keep sharing my story with you all. You guys keep hearing me, my mom, she really sacrificed, and then I didn't get this $3 raise, which pushed me into full-time entrepreneurship. But your story is so important in the journey, whether you are building a personal brand or a company brand. Now we're diving into company, but your personal narrative, your personal why is still essential. Okay. Next but not least, we're going to build a brand personality for your company, right? So, us as human beings and as personal brands, we already have a personality. So, personal branding and brand personality, we don't need to do that for a personal brand. But for a company brand, we're building it from the foundation. We're building it from the ground up. So, if you look at, we're going to look at different companies and what their brand personality is, and we'll dive more into that. Next, last but not least, is your targeted audience and branding checklist. So we're going to talk about who you are talking to. Who is this company speaking to? Because we don't want to speak to everyone, right? We waste dollars like that. We don't want to talk to people who don't care about what we're doing. We want to talk to a niche market that will buy our product, that will communicate with us, that will trust us. So yeah, this we are going to be crafting your company brand DNA right now. Okay, so problem solving for sustainability. Okay, and I say sustainability because we want longevity. Okay, I don't want a business that lasts a year or two. I want a business that lasts at least 10 years minimum, right? That is at minimum. So, wants versus needs. I want you to identify the pain points in your ideal customer or client and how your business can serve them. So, if I think about Creatively Flawless, right? And I think about these women being entrepreneurs and wanting great branding, having really strong companies, what pain points are they having? So, one of the pain points that I can definitely answer to, because I experienced it, is that they're not feeling valued in the workplace. Okay, so these women, they want to leave their jobs, they want to start their own companies, and their bosses aren't taking them seriously, or they're feeling overworked, and just ultimately not having a joyful experience at their working position. Okay, so that's a really strong pain point. And I want you to pull out the strong pain points. Okay, I really want you to pull out those pain points that can be life changing. Okay, so let's just say you are a chef, okay, and you provide healthy meals. Um, let's just say families are being addicted to sugar, okay, and you want to change that because people are getting diabetes at an alarming rate because they don't realize that they are addicted to carbs and sugar, right? And I'm just kind of I'm playing off of just different experiences and different entrepreneurial occupations. So if I say that, okay, people are losing their lives because they are not, eating healthy, and I want to provide healthy meals as a chef, that would be a strong pain point. I wouldn't say that all the pain points have to be that deep, but we really want to pull out the most important pain points because you don't want to have a surface level pain point. Okay. You don't want to have, like, prime example, let's just say I work with a lot of natural hairstylists who are opening up salons for women of color who want natural hairstyles. Here in America, we have like braiding shops and things like that, but we're still kind of catching on to full on out natural salons, right? Where they service women with natural hair. So a lot of my clientele are hairstylists who want to own these salons. And they said, like, these women can never find a salon where they treat their hair with care, right? So that would be considered a strong pain point. Okay, so in terms of problem solving, you want to make it clear that, hey, this is what I'm offering, this is what it does, and this is how it will benefit you, right? So if I'm a natural hairstylist and I'm opening up a salon, hey, you don't ever have to go to a different salon where they will have to learn the texture of your hair because we already know it, right? Or you don't have to worry about what type of products we put in your hair because we've already created a solution for it. Or we already have our own in-house product line, right? This is how we provide clarity on the value and the benefits, right? So I want you all to do that with your brands. Clearly state the problem that they're having, by identifying that pain point, and then answer that pain point by creating a solution. Okay, next up is your business why. Okay, so this is why you started your business, essentially. The reason why we get clear on our why is so that we can integrate that art of storytelling into the company. Okay, so we don't want to have generic businesses, right? That we can leave that to the corporations, and which they spend millions and billions of dollars just to make their story sound more human, right? So us as entrepreneurs, we already have that, right? We already have the stories. Now we just need to make these stories known. So your business why, it will connect your audience, it'll engage them, it'll communicate a mission, and it will motivate them to trust, buy, and be loyal to your brand, right? There's a woman here in Detroit who has a bath and body line, and she started her line because her daughter had skin rashes, and so that's just story just resonates with so many people here in our community. So people buy, not just because it's a great product, but because they also identify with her and her daughter's story. So yes, and then here are some ways to tell your story. You can tell it how and why it got founded, or why you started this company. So, prime example, I keep telling you all why I started Creatively Flawless. And just from my experience on, not feeling valued in the workplace and wanting to create something that was on my own terms, that I felt like I could steer the ship and create my own opportunities for. Um, Another way is to tell the founder's journey, right? So, what happened in the process of cultivating this business, right? From the early days to its inception to its launch, right? So, what were those key moments or aha moments that can connect people to your story? And then another way to tell your story is sharing the company's values. So, company values are a bit like the personal brand pillars, but obviously solely for a company. But yes, your business why should be pretty easy because it's essentially just why you started your company. But the most important part of that why is really infusing it in other parts of your branding. Okay, this is one of my favorite slides because this is how we get our companies to seem more human. This is how, when you look at a commercial and you're laughing because it's so hilarious, this is what these companies are focused on. They're focused on their brand, in a sense, being an avatar, right? This brand being a person, but it's $1 million corporation. And so for us as entrepreneurs, we get that opportunity as well. So, what is a brand personality? It's your brand's soul, tone, a voice, and its style, right? So it's like creating a human, but it's a brand. So I want you to think about 10 powerful descriptive words that embody your company's brand. This is not you, right? We're not working on the personal brand anymore, but this is your actual company, right? So what I like to think of as a company is a company can be bought or sold. A personal brand cannot be bought or sold. Does that make sense? So that's how you can separate the two. Personal brand over here, company brand over here. Okay, so for your company brand, is it athletic? Is it bright, classic, colorful, energetic, futuristic? Is it modern? Is it scholarly, serious, sophisticated? Is it youthful? So I want you to create, and I just put some examples on the left hand side. Obviously, there's millions of words, so you can use any words that um, define yours. But let's think of some words that speak to these brands. So obviously, you all know that first logo. I think that's one of the most popular brands in the world. Actually, these four are. Um, when I was doing the presentation, I was like, okay, 4 brands. Who are the top 4 brands that come up first? And these were the first 4 that came up. So for the Apple brand, something that comes up for me is innovation. That's the first word that comes up. They're like always setting the tone. They're always ahead of the game, and they always have the best product. Um, Coca-Cola, this is very lifestyle, right? Like a Coca-Cola, it's like an energetic brand. It's classic. Um, so yeah, Facebook community. That's the first word that comes up for me when I think of Facebook. I think of like my aunts and my uncles on Facebook, just like sharing family pictures and things like that. Um, and then when I think of Amazon, I think of like fast delivery. I think of like ready now. So yeah, I want you all to think of 10 descriptive words that can define your company um, and give it some personality. Okay. Definitely one of my favorite things to do. Okay, so after you have defined your company's brand personality and you've cultivated this person of a brand, I want you to define your targeted audience, okay? And we're going to do this by separating it in 2 parts, demographics and psychographics, okay? So first and foremost, age, sex, occupation, income, location, education, ethnicity, okay? So it's really important that you know these people by the back of your hand. Okay, so age, that may be a range, and that's totally fine. When we say targeted audience, it means the bulk of who would buy from us. Have I had a 60-year-old client? Yes, absolutely. Have I had an 18-year-old client? Yes, absolutely. Are those my targeted audience? No. My targeted audience is between the age of 25 and 40, right? That's kind of the bulk of who gets branding services for me. Okay, so age may be a range. I primarily mostly work with women. 90% of my clientele are women and 10% are men. Occupation, a lot are blue collar workers who want to transition into full-time entrepreneurship. So they're going through those same exact things that I went through. Income, I would say 50,000 and up. And that's really important. So you kind of understand affordability and where your price points are. Location mostly are in major cities in the United States. Most have college degrees, and I work with 95% women of color. And then psychographics are the interests, hobbies, attitudes. These are like that next level interests. I would say that a lot of the women that I work with are interested in self care and traveling and just really living an enhanced life. They want to do better. They read self help books. Um, so yeah, those are really important key things because you can just kind of get in their minds and learn more about them so that you can offer them more things in your business. Now, I want you to create your ideal customer based off the above. If you need to jot these down, go ahead and do it now so you have it, and you can work on as we finish up for the next 40 minutes. But yes, interests, hobbies, attitudes, and opinions. Um, I would say for attitudes and opinions, I want to touch on that briefly. But a lot of the women that I work with are really interested in equality. They are wanting to open up businesses because, again, they didn't feel valued in the workplace. More than likely, they had a male boss. And so they're really interested in more women being leaders. So these are really important things for you to understand. For your targeted audience. And again, targeted audience is the bulk of who's buying from you. It doesn't mean that, hey, if a 17-year-old wants to invest in branding, am I going to turn her away? Absolutely not. But it doesn't mean that her audience is the bulk of who's buying from me. Okay. Other helpful questions: where do they shop? What are they passionate about? What does their week or weekend look like? Right. So for me, um, a lot of the women self care on Sundays, Saturdays, they get a lot of their errands done. But yes, I know my target audience by the back of my hand. I could probably tell you a couple different books that they would read. Okay. Okay. Branding checklist. Okay, these are the things that you should ultimately have when initially starting out. I know this was a question that a couple of you had, but this is a branding checklist for the company, right? So, your brand messaging, you should be clear about your problem and your solution, your business why you got started. So, that journey, that evolution of the business inception and launch, your brand personality. So, cultivating that person of a brand, that avatar like, um, activity that we were speaking about with your top 10 words. You can do more if you like, but 10 normally can round out a good brand personality. And then getting clear on your targeted audience in terms of your demographics and your psychographics. Okay. So that is number one. That alone, that's a pretty lengthy assignment, you guys. After that, this is the fun stuff. This is like where I get busy and where I really help evolve my clients. But what you're seeing on the screen right now is a brand that I work with called Métier. Métier is it's going to be an online portal for entrepreneurs to receive online education for entrepreneurial finances. They can also get loans. So think of it like a QuickBooks. We have QuickBooks where it's like accounting systems for entrepreneurs. But yeah, this client, she has been working on this technology for quite some time. So I got to do the logo and the branding. So you're seeing on the screen, you're seeing her color palette as well as one of the logo options that we sent to her. She didn't pick that logo, but she picked a different option, which is just as good. And then you also want to have your domain name and website for your company. And depending on who you use, I want to say Africa, you can get GoDaddy. I want to say you can. I'm not 100%, but I would just Google the top domain name companies in Namibia. That may work. But yeah, here in the United States, we use GoDaddy, um, Google. Google may be an option for you guys as well, but people use Google for business, and that's where you can get a domain name for your website. And then last but not least, you want to get your social media presence active for your companies. Okay. So yes, making sure that you have this full checklist done for your brand, and you should not have one without the other. Like you should literally, you can go in this order as well.